Hello, it's Jennifer McGuire, and welcome to my favorite crafty things for 2020. Today we start my series, and this is a series I've been doing for a few years now. Each video will cover a different topic, sharing some of the products that I think deserve being featured this year. Now this is a long video. This is probably the longest of all the videos in the series because I'm covering the topic of stamps. If you want to skip the long video, you could always check out my list of favorite stamps for this year down in the description below. But in this video, I'll show you lots of different stamp sets that I like and also some examples. Now this, I'm hoping, is something that you can reference throughout the new year if maybe you're looking for something new or if you just kind of want to remember something that you might have that is similar. Consider this virtual window shopping. It's just fun to look at these toys that we enjoy playing with throughout the year. Now, if you want more information throughout this video, please go to my blog. My blog will have a lot more information like you see here. It has thumbnails of all the different products, and below the thumbnails are little buttons for multiple sources to find these particular products. Under many of the products, you'll see a round blue circle with a heart in the center. If you click that, it will take you to a video showing that particular product being used. So you can find lots of ideas, and I'll show many of those card ideas in this video today. Also be sure to go to my blog because I'll be doing giveaways with each of these videos. Now, I normally list the products that I talk about in a video in my YouTube description. However, there will be so many in this video, they won't all fit in my YouTube description. So instead, below in the description, I will provide a link to the different categories of stamps that I talk about. If you click those links, this is what will pop up. It's similar to what is on my blog, so you can try either option. Again, it's got the little icons below it for the different places you can buy the products or a video so you can see that product in action. I spend a lot of time pulling these links together in hopes that it's a reference for you. You can also share these links with folks if they're doing some holiday shopping for you. Before we get started, I wanted to show you a couple other things that will help you. One is if you go to my blog to check out one of the videos associated with a product you might like, you can always click this little bookmark button. You see it circled there in the red? This is at the top of each of my blog posts. If you click that, it will save that particular video in your bookmark so you can refer to it in the future. In order to save anything, all you need to do is create an account on my website. I don't sell anything. I don't share the emails. It's just so you can save particular videos for future reference. Now, say you want to find a particular video that you've bookmarked. You just go to the top of my website. You see that bookmark up there that's circled in red? You click that, and what pops up is all the videos that you saved. So this is a feature I've had for a long time, and I wanted to remind you of it. It might be helpful as you go through these favorite things, as you look at videos that are associated with these products. Now, if you are one who likes to shop from the My Favorite Things list, I wanted to recommend saving any products that you're interested in into a project list or a wish list over at Simon Says Stamp. Most of the products that I show in this video are available at Simon Says Stamp. So what you can do is click to the product and then push the Add to Project list. You'll see it there next to Add to Cart. Then, if you want to look at the list and the things you've added to it, you click My Account at the top of the Simon Says Stamp website. When you click that, you can scroll down a bit and you'll see your project lists, including a wish list, or you could name them different things. There you'll see the different products you wanted to remember, and there is even a share button. You see it there on the bottom right. And you can then email that list to somebody if you're interested in asking them to do a little holiday shopping for you. I just thought these tools were helpful to you as we look at many different products. But remember, you can just window shop and enjoy looking at the different things and maybe be reminded of similar products that you already have. Okay, let's get ready and talk about stamps today. Today I'm covering sentiment stamps, background stamps, and general stamps. I'll share stamp and die combos in a future video. This will be a quick pace video because I got a lot to squeeze in, and it will be long, but remember you can always skip it and just look at the list below if you prefer. Okay, let's dive into the first type of stamps I'm covering today, and that is sentiment stamps. I feel the sentiment is the most important part of our card. There are a few sentiment stamp sets this year that I've reached for a lot because it has a nice mix of messages that works great on a sentiment strip. The first is Altenew Sentiment Strips 2. The first version of this was on my list last year. This has a great mix of wonderful basic occasions, but also some unique ones, such as celebrating you today, sending healing hugs, and with all of my love. So there's lots of things here. You can cover all of your occasions with this. So here is a card example I did. Remember, you can find the link to the videos for these cards that I show in my thumbnails, as I showed you at the beginning of the video. Now you can see these are all capital letters, so they fit great on sentiment strips, or you can add them onto your card just about anywhere, and even use them inside your card. Another set that has a lot of great greetings in it, perfect for strips, is the Pretty Pink Posh Simple Sentiments. This covers the basic and the unique things, such as you make me smile with heartfelt sympathy, birthday wishes, congrats, you name it. And these are small, so they fit nice into those tight little areas. I also like to use these to just stamp on the envelope too for a quick added sentiment. I've used this one very often. Here is an example where I added it as a sub-sentiment under the word hi. Quick little sentiment strips like that are great to just add onto your card anywhere when you're done, or you can stamp them onto the card. On this simple card design, I used a fun layering stencil set, and then I just added the simple sentiment underneath it with black ink. This next sentiment set has bigger sentiments. It's a 6x8 stamp set. It's from Pink Fresh Studio called Simply Sentiments Hello. On the bottom is the bold hello, and then there are a few cursive words that match up with it up there on the top right. But then there are lots of other sub-sentiments to go with hello. One hack that I do when I make cards is I make a lot of cards that say hello, because then you can add happy birthday or thinking of you or thank you or whatever you want underneath the hello or in the inside. And this set is good for that. So you can use the hello stamp on the set, or use a hello die, whatever you want, but it's fun to mix and match with this one. Here I used one of the sentiments with white heat embossing on black cardstock and glued it right at the center of my card so it would stand out. On this example, I used a Pink Fresh Studio Hello die cut, and then did You Are My Rainbow from this stamp set below it. And remember, I do link to the videos for these card examples. Okay, the next one is from Newton's Nook. I like this stamp set because it's smaller, so it has a great price point, and it covers a lot of your occasions. I use the Missing You and Sending Prayers a lot on the cards that I've been sending out lately, along with the Hang In There. This set would be a great set to give as a gift, especially to a new card maker. Another set that I've used a lot in videos is the Concord & Ninth Simply Said stamp set. This is a tall set that is 4 by 8 inches. It has the 4 large script sentiments, but then also the sentiments to go with it that are nice to put on a strip. And there are coordinating dies available for the large sentiments, and in that coordinating die set is a die cut strip too for the smaller sentiments. On this example, I used the thank you and the coordinating die to cut it out, which was nice because I could just stick it right there on top of my layered die cuts. For this one, I used one of the smaller sentiments that says you're amazing, but I do like the size of this. They're a little bit bigger than the sentiment strip sentiments I've shown you already, so you can use it as a focal point too. Another smaller stamp set with a great price point is the Avriel Speech Bubbles. There are 2 reasons I like this set. It has lots of occasions on it, so it would be a great set to give to someone as a gift or for yourself to cover your bases. But also the second reason is there's the speech bubbles. So you can stamp the different sentiments into those speech bubbles and add it to any critter stamp sets or little people that you have. Also, a third reason actually is all of these sentiments are small, so they fit into tight spaces on your cards. Sometimes I find those helpful because long sentiments sometimes are hard to place on cards, so that one's great. Here's another that's great for tight spaces. This is the Lawn Fawn Love Poems. Now at the top you see those little mice holding a square. That's supposed to be for a stamp set or to go with a stamp set that has a typewriter, and I did a video using it. But what I like is all of these little sentiments are great to stamp on a tiny circle or tiny heart to add anywhere you want on a card. So I like having some of these stamp sets in my stash that are shorter and will fit into those smaller spots. I also like the "a just a note to say" message on the bottom. You can do that on the front of the card and one of the other sentiments on the inside, and this covers a lot of occasions. Here's an example I did with "Have a Nice Day," and you can see how that small sentiment will fit into those tight spots on any card that you create. These small sentiments are also great inside of cards. Next, we have big and bold, the Brutus Monroe Thanks a Ton set. This is a 6x8 set. That's a regular note card over there, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So you can get a size reference on how big these are. So if you create a card with a fun background and you just want a nice, bold thank you sentiment for the center, this is a good option. I've been using a lot of these when I make cards for nurses and doctors and grocery store workers and teachers. Great different ways to say thank you. I really appreciate the unique look of these sentiments. Another one with a unique look that I really like is the Gina K Just Because stamp set. This is 6x8, so these are nice and large. I've been stamping sending hugs on a lot of envelopes and using just a note and just because for many of my cards. I've often wished I had beautiful handwriting, so it's nice to have a stamp set that lets me get that look. Here's one example I did where I white heat embossed "You've Got This." I think that's a great sentiment for the year 2020. And on this one, I did just a note, and then I stamped a particular occasion in the inside. So you can make your just a note cards, leave them as is, and when an occasion pops up, you can add a particular sentiment in the inside. And also you can see sending hugs stamped on the matching envelope. Another set I highly recommend is the Waffle Flower Sweet Sentiments. This covers many occasions, once again, and what I like is these aren't too small and they're not too big. What these are perfect for is stamping onto a circle die cut, a heart die cut, or a square die cut, and putting right at the top center of your card on whatever beautiful inked or stamped background that you create. It makes for a very quick and simple card design, and you can also use these on the envelope. Here's an example that I did with a rainbow card that had a clear shaker element, and I used the Sending Prayers Your Way right there at the center on a rectangle die cut. Next we have from Avery L. Loads of Happy, which is a brilliant stamp set. It has the large words "Happy Birthday," but then there are also little reverse sentiments there that you can team up with happy. So you can do happy anniversary, Valentine's Day, Father's Day, new job, Halloween, pretty much all of your occasions once again. They do have a happy die you could do instead of the stamp. But this is one that I've been using a lot lately for babies. A lot of my friends are having babies. I feel way too old for that, but this is what I've been using a lot. I do the happy baby sentiment. Next, we have Pink Fresh Studio, a whole lot of awesome. I squealed when I got this stamp set and used it. It was so much fun to use. There's a guide over there on how it turns out. It has the large sentiment and then all these little doodads and doodles you can stamp around it in a different color. So you can make a very quick one-layer card with this set, or you can kind of jazz it up with layers as I did on my example here. I sent many of these to nurses when the whole COVID thing started, and I think it's time for me to make some more of them. Who wouldn't love to get a card that says this sentiment? One of the most beautiful stamp sets I have purchased this year is definitely the Greetery Written in Rainbows stamp set. There's also coordinating die set, which I would recommend too. This is one of those where you stamp it in two different stamps on top of each other to get that dimensional look that you see there in the example. You just do one ink and then the other image in a slightly darker ink and you get that look. So it has just for you, hello, happy, and thanks. And then there are all the sub-sentiments to go with it, or you can team them up with something you already have. I used the hello and the thanks and the just for you many times for holiday cards. I think it's even more beautiful when it's heat embossed too. And there's the coordinating dies that cut them out nicely. This is one of the sets that I haven't used in a video, but I have used a lot off screen when I mass produce cards. This is a favorite of mine, and they actually do have a holiday version of this that they've come out with recently too. That thanks sentiment right there on the bottom, that looks great right along a border on the bottom of a card. Next up, we have the Reverse Confetti Perfect Timing stamp set. That sentiment on the top left that says, God made rainbows to remind us that even the stormiest times have bright endings. I use that stamp for probably over 100 cards that I made this summer to send out to nurses. I really appreciate the encouragement of this stamp set and this reminder of faith during these tough times. Now, I don't have photos of all the cards that I mass produced, but I did use that same sentiment in this card that you see here on the right. That's actually a bookmark that can be removed from the card and saved. So if you are one who relies on your faith a lot too, you can check out this set. Next up is the Miss You stamp from Create a Smile. There's actually another one here. This is just for you. These are small stamp sets, so they have a great price point, would be great for a stocking stuffer. I like the Miss You because you can do We Miss You, which is nice when you're sending a card from the family to someone. The Just for You is nice also because it can be for a variety of occasions, and you can also put stamped Just for You and even put that on your envelope. Create a Smile is a company in Europe, and they have excellent quality stamps and dies. Next, we have the Honey Bee stamp set that they created in honor of Hero Arts called Amazing. This is one of those sets that I've probably used the most this year because of the encouragement sentiments and the thank you sentiments. In a year where kindness is needed more than ever, this is a set to reach for often. So you've probably seen me use it in many videos, but I've also used it in my mass producing of cards. Here are a couple of cards that I did with little lift tabs that show an additional sentiment behind. This is one of those classic stamp sets that I think I will reach for many years to come because of the style of the sentiments and the importance of what they have to say. I also appreciate that Honeybee Designs made this for Hero Arts in honor of Hero Arts celebrating 45 years of making stamps. The fact that this industry pulls together is something I really appreciate. Now in 2020, I sent more Miss You cards than I ever have, but I want to keep that going even when this whole mess is over. The Simon Says Stamp Just Miss You stamp set is great for that. I live far away from many of my best friends and family members, so this is a set that I've been using quite a bit. There are wonderful sentiments for the front of cards, but lots that are great inside of cards, or stamped on the bottom inside, or on an envelope. There's also a Sending Smiles die that coordinates with this. I feel like this is one of those timeless sets that I can use for many years to come. Another that has the same feel but is for more sympathy or thinking of you is the Simon Says Stamp Sympathy Greetings. I've used this a lot this year, and I know that many people are like me and find sympathy cards the hardest to make, or cards for someone who's going through a terribly rough time. Well, this set has a lot of different options that I think make it easier to make those cards. Sending thoughts and prayers your way, sending healing hugs. There are also greetings that go great inside of your cards, which many people ask about. So My Heart is With You, I think, is a beautiful sentiment to stamp on a heart and add to any card. Here's a card I did with the Loving Sympathy sentiment. Another thing that's great about this set is there are a lot of styles of sentiment, so you can find something that matches the style of your card. Another type of card I've sent more this year than ever before is an encouragement card, and I plan to keep that up also. This is the Simon Says Stamp Tiny Word Support stamp set. There are many sentiments of encouragement and support in this set. They're all very tiny, so they're great for little sub-sentiments under a larger die cut or stamped image. They're also great for inside of cards too. I actually have 2 of these stamp sets since I was mass producing with them. The Sending Support to Lift You Up is one I like to use a lot. Let Me Brave the Storm With You is another that I like, and You're Important to Me. And who wouldn't love to get a card that says you are loved? That's another one of those that can be used for many occasions. This summer, I mass-produced a bunch of cards with the Trinity Stamps Paper Pep Talk stamp. This is a smaller stamp, so it's got a great price point, but it fills a card nicely because it's the one main image. I white heat embossed this on watercolor paper, did a bunch that way, and then I just inked and sprayed with water over them to get a watercolor background. You can also do simple coloring on it. I gotta say, this is a very happy and cheerful and playful way to give someone encouragement, and you can see it fills a card nicely. Another playful one is the Simon Says Stamp Paper Hug Stamp Set. This is a big one. It's 6x8. I've used this a few times in videos. There are the large images. There is a coordinating die set available for that. But what I've used a lot is the sentiments for, I miss you, sending you a paper hug. You can also use these images on envelopes. So I've used these mostly on envelopes. Here's an example where I use some of the sentiments. Those are actually hands that fold open, and underneath it says, I can't wait to hug you. So this one definitely seems to be like the stamp set of 2020. Here we have a set from Waffle Flower called Safe at Home, which again is 2020 for sure. The Sending Virtual Hugs and You're Doing Great is one that I have used quite a bit, especially for teacher cards. So my kids are doing virtual learning. Our school gives the option. So I'm making cards for all of the teachers, and that Sending Virtual Hugs seems to be the perfect sentiment. But these can be used in the future too, when things are back to normal, because you've got miss your face, you can do this, you make my day, it's going to get better. A lot of different messages in here that can be used in the years to come. Another one that has a lot of unique sentiments that are great for someone who is far away is from the Gray Muse, and it's called Social Distance. I use the Sending You a Paper Hug often. Also, consider this card a long distance hug. I'm so grateful for you. Let me know if you need anything. I am certain of one thing, you're brave, and take care of yourself. Those are ones that I think really set this stamp set unique from others. It could be stamped on a sentiment strip or along a border, as you see that I've done here, or you can stamp it inside of a card or on an envelope flap. Now, what I think is the most clever stamp set of 2020 is the Inkblot Shop Spit-Free Stamp Set. Yes, you heard that right. This is for stamping on your envelopes. It says sealed with love, not germs. Sealed with love and adhesive, spit-free. And it's got those little faces, and some of them have masks on. Sometimes you just need to smile, especially during these challenging times. I thought this one was really fun. It's small also, so it has a great price point. So most of my cards that have been going out lately have that on the envelope. This Sweet and Sassy My Thoughts of You stamp set is one that I like because of the beautiful script sentiments in it. And they're also kind of encouraging, just to let someone know you're thinking of them and appreciate them. I just purchased this one, and I plan to make a set of note cards for my mom that has the different sentiments on here that she can give on to her friends. I like to make a set of cards for her for Christmas, and this set seems perfect. Whenever I do a survey, I always find out that the type of card that you all make the most is birthday cards. And the question I get the most is, what do I put inside of my cards? So I thought I'd share with you the Mama Elephant Birthday Inside Messages, or Inside Birthday Messages. These are all sentiments that can go inside of birthday cards. Speaking of inside of cards, I love the Simon Says Stamp Card Sharing Stamp Set. These are all messages that you can stamp on a piece of cardstock that you put inside of your card. So then the recipient can remove that piece of paper and then send the card on to someone else. So it's kind of paying it forward. I did a video with many different ideas for how to incorporate this inside a card, so be sure to check that out. But I tried to do this with all the cards I'm sending now so that they could keep being passed on to make more people smile. And last but not least, for sentiments, I thought I'd put in this alphabet set. This is from Sunny Studio. This is a small alphabet set that has a great price point, and it has multiples of each letter. So if you want to personalize a card or an envelope with somebody's name, or do a custom personalized sentiment, this set is great. You don't have to wait and stamp separately the additional letters, because as you can see, there are 3 A's, 4 E's, so it's easy to be able to create whatever message you want. Okay, let's take a look at background stamps. I like using background stamps because they're fun for techniques. And the background stamp I use the most this year is definitely the Simon Says Stamp UR background stamp. It has nice size, small text, so it's kind of just a subtle background of encouragement messages. I don't actually have the stamp with me today because one of my friends who's mass producing teacher cards is borrowing it. But you can see here how I stamped it with a light ink just to add a little more interest to a background. For a script background stamp, I really like the Unity Stamps A Faithful Letter. I like the script style of this. It's an upright script and it has messages of faith, but it's one of those that really is meant to just add interest to a background, but not necessarily read. So it's great for pretty much any occasion. I also like that it's cling because it has great detail to the tiny script. Another stamp that I've used a lot this year is the Pink and Main Plaid 3 stamp. There are actually 3 different stamps that you can purchase and stamp on top of each other to form a colorful plaid. But I like using plaid number 3, the one you see here, on its own. It looks beautiful for a tone-on-tone embossing. Here you can see where I used it to add a little bit of interest to the note card behind an alcohol ink background. It looks gorgeous, white heat embossed on white for a little bit of texture. The My Favorite Things all lined up diagonally stamp is another that can be used on a variety of cards. It has a lot of great detail to it. It's a 6x6 cling stamp, so you can stamp it either horizontally or vertically on an A2 card. I love the look of this stamped with white pigment ink on a craft note card, as you can see in the example here. Here's another cling background stamp that is just beautiful. It's the My Favorite Things Flower Field. Now you could stamp this with black ink and paint in the flowers. There is such detail to these flowers. They're thin lined, and that detail is something that you really get best with a rubber or cling stamp like you see here. You could also just use this for a tone-on-tone background like in my example, or white heat emboss it and just do a watercolor wash over top. Now check out this really unique stamp from Impression Obsession. This is the Pixel Daisy, and they actually have other flowers too. But it's actually a pixelated image. And I just stamped that tone on tone with one stamping. It's such a unique detailed look. What I plan to do for the holidays is as teacher gifts, I will stamp this on several different colored note cards, tone on tone. And then in the note card set have different sentiments die cut that the recipient can glue onto the card based on what they need. I'll already have the adhesive on the back of the die cuts, so all they have to do is remove the release paper and make a card. I plan to do the same with the Picket Fence Swallowtail Beauty. This butterfly is gorgeous. Look how large it is. Great for tone on tone and simple cards, but you can also do like a rainbow watercolor background and just stamp this on top. I like large images like this because it fills the card and takes less time to pull the card together. Now, I am a big fan of Concord and Ninth Turnabout stamps, and this year I really like the Blooms Turnabout. Turnabout stamps are ones where you stamp it once and then rotate it 4 times in a stamping tool, stamping each time in a different color to create a colorful background. What's cool about the Blooms Turnabout is there's actually 2 Turnabout stamps in this set, and you do the turnabout with both of them together to create a ton of colors. So here is the guide that Concord and Ninth shows. So you can see on the top left is just the flowers, on the right is just the leaves, and on the bottom is it all together. I just love that on the bottom because it has 8 different colors all stamped together, and that would take forever to do with individual stamps. Now, the other turnabout that I really like is from Concord and Ninth, and it's the postmarked turnabout. This is brand new, and I love it because it's perfect for a card maker. So this one you could do on an envelope, or you can do it for the background on a card, and you can see my example there. You can cut out different parts of the image, but remember these turnabout stamp sets have other individual images included in the set too. So this one here I did with 4 different colors, 4 different turns. If you've never done a turnabout stamp, I will link to a video showing how here so you can check it out. But basically you stamp, turn, really easy to do and a great way to create a colorful background. Okay, the last background stamp on my list for this year is from Hello Bluebird. It is the Pathway background. This is brilliant. You can stamp it vertical or horizontal on an A2 card, and you have your background scene. All you need to do is add any little critters or any little people from the different companies that you know and love, and you have a scene background. I just think that's so smart, and I like that the scene is one that can be used for a few different seasons. It's kind of universal. Such a clever idea. Okay, the last category of stamps for this year is the other category. So basically, everything that doesn't fit into words or backgrounds is in this group. Now, I know many people make mostly birthday cards, so here we have the Colorado Craft Company Birthday Wishing Stamp Set. This is such a beautifully illustrated set. It is from the illustrator who does the Guess How Much I Love You kids books. Super sweet. I also like that there are sentiments that are good for the inside of cards. Here's an example that I did. I actually made it a non-birthday card by changing the balloon into a heart shape for this Virtual Hugs card. A set that I've used a lot this year for kids cards is the Avriel Berry Good Friends. That bear laying down, and you can put a little fox or bunny on his belly or the bear peeking out. Just super sweet. And the Hello Friend sentiment is great on just about any card. I also like that the images are very simple to color, which is helpful to me. Okay, here we have a birthday set. This is the My Favorite Things Birthday Buds. I've used this one quite a few times because of its unique playful elements. There are also great sentiments included that you can use with other stamps. Here's an example I did where I stamped the images on patterned paper scraps and then cut them out to create the cute little scene. For birthday cards for just about anyone in all ages is the Hero Arts Festive Balloons. I like that that large balloon can be stamped and then you can add any of the sentiments inside of it for a really fun and quick, simple card. There is also the little banner that you can do with the tassels. A lot of ways you can build this up to create a fun scene. I also like to stamp those sentiments on my envelope flaps. Now, whenever I need a really fast and simple card design for birthday, I like to use the Purple Onion Designs rubber stamp called Presents. It's a small one, you can see it up there, but it has great detail to it. All I do is I stamp it top center on a white note card, do quick coloring for whoever the recipient is, and then stamp a simple birthday greeting underneath it. Here's how it stamps. I love the detail you get with rubber stamps. Now, my mom always is asking me to make her birthday cards, especially now that she never goes to the store to buy some. And this is what I usually make for her because I can color them different based on who she's giving the card to. One of the best stamp sets this year is My Favorite Things Hanging with My Gnomies. So gnome stamp sets are very popular right now, and this is definitely my year-round favorite. There are such cute images in here and clever sentiments. I've used this one quite a few times, and the sentiment that says, "There's gnome one like you," is just fantastic. I like that there are boy and girl gnomes included too. Now, this card here that I made, you think maybe this should go to a kid, but I actually sent that to a guy over the age of 50, and he loved it. So it's just one of those sets that can be used for playful cards anytime. One of the most useful stamp sets of 2020 is the Inkblot Shop Landscape Borders. There are 3 border stamps in here and also some sky images like a sun, a moon, clouds, and stars. Now you can use this as a backdrop for any of your little critters. In fact, this would go great with the little Nomi stamp set that I just showed you. You could stamp and color them, or you could just use it as a tone-on-tone backdrop for the little people or critters you add on top. Such a clever set. Now, another kind of backdrop stamp set that I like is from Clearly Besotted. This is called Scene It Around. There are 2 circles. There's a beach and then kind of like a park scene. I think it's supposed to be fall, but I think you could use it year-round. This is great to match up with your small critters or people stamps. There are some other Scene It Around stamp sets. Here's an example on the right, but my favorite is definitely the one with that park scene on the bottom. Another of my most used stamp sets from 2020 is definitely the My Favorite Things Brilliant Butterfly set. This is one of those stamp sets that you build together to create a bunch of different options. There is this color guide that you can see that shows some of the ways to use it. You can even see some of my leftover stamped butterflies ready for future cards. I used this in a video where I showed many examples with it. Here are a couple of the examples. But I also use these for mass producing cards for the nurses and doctors. I just think it's a great set that can be used for many different occasions. I'm kind of hoping that My Favorite Things does the same style, but maybe in flowers or birds too. Now for layering stamp sets, they're very popular right now. I find that Kitchen Sink Stamps has some of the most beautiful layering sets, and this apple is a great example. This is a small set, so it's got a great price point, and it tells you easily how to layer them together. It even comes with a color guide to make suggestions. And check out how realistic that apple looks. This is one that I'm using right now to make a bunch of teacher cards. But it can be used for non-teacher too. I really like the sentiment that says, "You're so appealing," and also couldn't have picked a better friend. This is another set I've used quite a bit this year. This is the Simon Says Stamp Beautiful Butterflies. I really like the butterfly images. You can do a line of them along a card, but I also like the sentiments in it. This is a large 6x8 set, so there's a lot in it. It's a very meaty set because of the different sentiments. For my first example, I white heat embossed one of the butterflies on vellum, very simple, and added the Thinking of You banner sentiment. It's amazing how something simple like that on a technique background is all you need. On this example, I used the Beautiful Friend. It fits nicely on a heart die cut. I love sets like this that have great images and great sentiments. Another favorite is this large 6x8 set from Hero Arts called Beach Heroscape. It has layering images to create a beach scene. I can't find this stinking stamp set in my stash, so I just have to show you an image, but I do have card examples where I used it. Here you can see the realistic beach scene, very easy to line up and create this card. And those waves actually open like a flap on the card. I'm really liking all of these scene layering stamps from Hero Arts. They call them Heroscapes. They make for really easy to pull together layered scenes on cards. Here's another. This is the Sunflower Fields Heroscapes. You just stamp each of those layers together. They're easy to line up, and you get a beautiful one-layer scene. Now, there are many different scenes. I just happen to like the sunflowers and the beach, but there are ones that are like tulips and a vineyard, all kinds of things. Here you can see where I did the sunflower scene inside of a card. When you close the card, there's a window that shows the scene through the window. If you're new to layering, I recommend this set. Okay, so Altenew has many beautiful floral stamp sets. This is the Sweet Flowers. It's a 6x8 set. The reason I chose this one is it has the outline image, then it has the layering images to go in that. But you can use them together or separately. I really like that option. It's a large image that fills a card nicely, or you can build it up to make it even bigger. I did a video showing many examples with this set. In this one, I just stamped the outline in black and put color around it. But remember, the set does have the images that you can stamp to color the inside, or you could color it by hand with markers or watercolor. Another floral stamp set, but with more of a casual look to it, is the Pink Fresh Studio Sending Love and Hugs. Now, this doesn't exactly layer. It instead kind of builds to create a floral bouquet. Very easy. You don't have to take any effort to really line it up. And there are some great sentiments with it. Here's an example I made. You can see it's a large image in the end that fills a card nicely, and there's an opportunity to use several different colors, so you can end up with a really colorful focal point for your card. If you like this style of florals, I definitely recommend checking out other sets from Pink Fresh Studio. Okay, next we have the Greetery, the Blessed Blooms. Now, I used a stamp set similar to this in a video, but this one is new to me. It has different greetings around the words blessed, blessings, and blessing, which is a word or a message that I use often, so I was excited about this. You can see the easy layering guide to form little leaves and small flower clusters, and I like that you can build those around the sentiment, as you can see in the layout ideas below. There are also coordinating dies available that cut out those words and the shapes. Such a timeless set. Next, we have the W+9, the Little Things stamp set. This is a 6x8 stamp set, and there were a couple others that came out at the same time that go together nicely. And I use them to make a load of cards. The detailed layering images in this are fantastic to make little scenes. I encourage you to check out this video. I give tips for mass producing in it, and it'll be linked below. And it also shows all the different sets that W+9 created together. They are just brilliant how well they work together. It allows you to get more out of the stamp sets when you use them with others. Big floral outline images are very popular this year, and Gina K Designs has some of the best. This is the Delightful Blooms. The reason I like this set is there are 2 large floral images in it. Usually sets only have 1, and some nice sentiments. Now you could stamp this and watercolor it or color it with markers or whatever. Me, I'm not great at coloring, so I did a reverse coloring technique where I stamped it on the top and the bottom of a slimline card and then did dot coloring around it. Such a beautiful illustration. Recently, My Favorite Things started doing floral images that have thin outline, very detailed, in rubber or cling mounted stamps. Check out the detail in this image. So beautiful, great for coloring, but again, you could just do tone on tone stamping or watercolor wash over it. This one is my favorite. It has 2 magnolia images, and I've used this one for a simple thank you card many times. They have many other floral images that are worth checking out in this thin line detailed red rubber. If you like cling stamps, I highly recommend Tim Holtz cling stamps. They are very high quality, beautiful detail. This is the Flower Shop, which is by far my favorite. Look at this image simply stamped in black. So classic. You could do a tone-on-tone color for a very simple card. It's great for techniques. You can heat emboss this and do sprays over it. The sky is the limit. And the details on these flowers is outstanding. This year, Pink Fresh Studio came out with many stamp sets where the pieces pop out, so you can do different colors or change up the look. My favorite of all of them is the pop-out rainbow. You can take each of these individually, so you can stamp each in a different color to form a rainbow. I used this in a video and created many examples. In this one, I actually stamped the rainbow towards the bottom and towards the top, so it overlapped, forming a fun pattern. But you could definitely use it for a basic rainbow if you prefer. There are dies that match up with this too. So there is a background die that's a rainbow that lines up with this. And again, they have many different stamps and dies that work in the same way. So a new stamp company this year, Pocket Full of Happiness, has one of by far the best stamp sets of the year. It's the rainbow pattern. There are all of those border stamps that you stamp together in different colors to form this adorable rainbow border. You can cover an entire card front with it. It fills a card nicely. I'm just over the moon about this, and I hope they do more sets like this. There are also lots of great sentiments in there. I've been using rainbow stamps and dies a lot this year. I feel like it brings hope in a rough year. So the Lawn Fawn All the Clouds set is one that I've used for making encouragement cards. You can stamp the little rainbow and clouds, the sun, and then there's little faces. See all the different face options that you can stamp onto the sun or the clouds or the moon. It just makes for a really happy card. I also like the sentiments you can build together here for sentiments such as sending sunshine and smiles your way or sunshine to brighten your day. Probably the most heartwarming stamp set for me this year is the Mama Elephant Family Time. I love these snuggly little critter images. I've used the bear one for cards for my kids and also for baby cards. There are also nice family sentiments and sentiments that are great for your kids included. Another sweet set is the Hello Bluebird Besties stamp set. So you see up here, there's like this cloud and ground scene. You can stamp that as like a backdrop for any critters, either the ones in the set or others that you may have. And then the sentiments are wonderful too, such as hello, my friend, and I'm here for you. Now here I just want to show you the sizing. Here's that little backdrop. Fits nicely on a card, add your little critter, a sentiment underneath, and you have a quick and easy card. Lila has used this one many times to make cards for her friends. Okay, so next up we have from Pink and Main, the Little Angels stamp set. I have not used this one. I just bought it because I thought it was adorable. Pink and Main makes great quality products. And these sweet images with the sentiment underneath it that says you're an angel, fantastic for the holidays, but these can be used all year round to send a card to a friend or a loved one. The angel on the top center and top left, those just tug on my heartstrings. Very easy to color, good sized, and sweet for many occasions. For something completely different, we have Ellen Hudson's Summer of Stamping combo. You can buy these together or separately, but I think they're really fun together. The set that I like the most is this one, where you can create different people, different hairstyles, different faces, to make just what you want. There's also the computer screen on the bottom that you can stamp that in. to kind of go along with the Zoom and FaceTime we're all doing these days. Now the other sets go with it well too. There's a bigger computer screen on the one on the left. There are all these playful sentiments here on this one in the middle. I really like the one that says, "I miss your face." I think that's great. And then the one on the left also has a few drinks, which is also playful to use this time too. A definite must-have from 2020 is the Dare to Be Artsy Sunshine and Rainbow 6x8 stamp set. I had to buy this the moment I saw it because of all the ways you can use it. So there are all these different arches that you can stamp together to create a colorful rainbow. There are also sentiments in arches that you can stamp right along the rainbow, such as "Count your rainbows, not your storms," "Hang in there, a beautiful rainbow is on its way." A lot of encouraging sentiments in this. Another that I used for a lot of mass-produced cards this summer is the Dare to Be Artsy Bear Hug stamp set. I loaned this out to a friend, so I don't have it to show you. But you have these little bears that you can put at 6 feet apart. You see the little 6-foot mark, and there's even masks that you can put on their face. Lila and I did a lot of cards with this, and I actually shared a little video over on Instagram, and I'll try to link that below so you can see how it works. One stamp set that I really appreciated a lot this year is the Hero Arts United as One 6x8 stamp set. I use this for a lot of cards in one of my videos. I like the messages of support and love and appreciation, but the hands holding is my favorite part. You can either have the hands up or down, and you can either stamp the outline or the outline together with the layering images if you don't want to color the outline. Here I stamped it with black ink, and then I stamped the layers in with colored ink. And I like that I could customize it and make it personal for the recipient that I was giving this to. It's a great way to include all. One set sitting on my desk ready to be used is the Reverse Confetti You Matter stamp set. I love those hands in the circle. I plan to stamp those and color them, and then put a heart die cut at the center with Better Together in it. I thought that would be wonderful to put on cards for teachers and also to give to friends. Since we're all crafters, I had to include the Trinity Stamps A Crafter's Heart stamp set. That large heart image is made up of crafty supplies, fills the card nicely. I like the sentiments that you say, "You make my life colorful," and "You've got heart," with the word art bold. You can also stamp this and cut out the different supplies to add as accents. And last but not least, one of my most used stamps is the Inkblot Shop Hero Arts stamp set called Please Deliver. Inkblot Shop designed this for Hero Arts in honor of their 45 years of stamping. I like the different crafty borders, great for the border of a card or on an envelope. And there are images that you can stamp on your envelope to add the address. I used 2 of these borders for these 2 card examples. They're super fun to color. You can just put it along the bottom, the top and the bottom, or even create a background with it. Okay, so there you have it, my favorite stamps from this year. I will have a separate video for my favorite stamp and die and stencil combos. That'll come soon. Now remember, I do have links to the different categories of products below. Then when you click on that, it'll pop up all the thumbnails so you can easily find the different products, links to different stores if you want a closer look, or a link to the video if you want to see inspiration for the different products. But really the best thing to do is to go over to my blog because it's all there. All the thumbnails, all the links are there. I also have a big giveaway, and I have a link to a Crafty sales list. So you can save some on the different products I mentioned if you're interested in shopping. In the middle, I have a couple other videos, including last year's favorites list, which still I use many of those stamp sets. Thank you for watching this long video. I appreciate it. Hope you have a good day, and we'll see you soon with more of my favorite crafty things.